There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Now that we're starting late, thanks, Blizzard. Ahem. Don't mistake the expedition's scholarly pursuit as timidness, Zerviles. We're not recluses studying books in far-off towers. We're adventurers, hunting down knowledge firsthand in every corner of Azeroth. That passion for adventure often leads us on the path of perils and hazards, and a few of our expedition members may have bitten off more than they could chew. No, I didn't, Uthor.
You call that a uniform?
Cinder Thresh glances suspiciously at the proto-dragons lurking on the ridge behind her, which, as it happens, are actually right there. Holy crap. I'd swear those proto-dragons edge closer to camp every time I turn back. Those are not the dragons Abyssius invited us here to meet. Proto-dragons are ruthless predators who cannot be reasoned with. We must be ruthless in return. Cull their numbers. Keep their ambitions in check, or this expedition will be over before it begins.
Anything for an ally.
You look like you've got skill.
You didn't bring much luggage either, did you? He opens his palm to reveal a dull black stone. All I need is my tools and my lucky rock. We'll get everything else we need as we go.
We'll have plenty for you next time.
These proto-drakes are unlike any I've seen before on Azeroth. Their scales appear to be naturally flame-resistant, stronger than steel, and don't lose flexibility in the process. Incredible. My artisans, all of them, are clamoring to get their hands on some of those scales to work with. Start with the whelps. The smaller scales should be more pliable until we've mastered our techniques with them.
Fine crafts take practice.
I suggest we keep moving.
Abyssian said that Rathian will be waiting for us at the embassy atop the hill.
Hopefully it's under attack. I could use a good fight.
Oh yeah, exploiting to get a mythic first, especially given how big of a deal that is nowadays, yeah, that might actually be an insta-ban. A perma-ban, excuse me. That might be a, your account is gone, have fun. I'm trying to drag it closer for you. There you go. I've never known Blizzard to do a character ban before. But that doesn't mean they don't. You know, it's just children being children. Don't pay them too much attention, really. It's all they want, and they do not deserve it. Well, the idea behind a character ban actually does exist in other MMOs. The idea boils down to having a more granular way of punishing someone. If you do something bad, but not like turbo bad, you get a character ban, as opposed to, you know, an account ban or an account action. And WoW specifically, that's admittedly not the same kind of thing. WoW actually does have a granular ban system already in place, which is a temp ban. And they can set that to, near as I'm aware, anything. Like 5 days, 3 minutes, 8 hours, 42 years, doesn't matter. I got your back.
Welcome to the Dragon Isles, adventurers.
Rex Troy's different. Like, he found that thing with Noggenfogger very recently, like this week, I want to say. But, you know, that's an informative thing, not a, I'm being a dick and deserve to be banned kind of a thing. If that's the guy I'm thinking of, I might be getting my name wrong, so forgive me if I am. Whoop, 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 whoop. I love how I don't want to keep bashing Shadowlands, but I love how this entire area is like what Carthia probably should have looked like. I mean, he gets played plenty of Bladefall, but yes. He probably makes more money than I do. Well, like, okay, you're probably thinking, but this is still an empty rocky crag. Well, hang on. Let me go, like, 50 feet this way to the ruined city, which is right here. Hey, look, guys. It's a city that's in disrepair and ruined. Almost as if it just got torn by the mob. Anyways, I'm going to move on. I don't think it's deliberate. I don't think there's any, like, conspiracy theory here. I just think it's funny because this place has more personality to it, more doodads, more terrain design. I was just looking around judging it because we're going to have to give a negative or positive to this area. Like you do. And, yeah. This place is a much better Korthia. Yeah, exactly. Same, yeah. Just ridiculous. Gosh darn it. We've got this nice little magma. In fact, these are new textures. These ones right here. The Noggenfogger thing was funny for anybody not familiar with it. I don't remember the exact specifics of how it worked, but it had something to do with there's an item, you throw it at someone, and it spawns slimes who are hostile to what you threw it at. But it was bugged, so you could throw it at pretty much anybody. So, for example, I could be like, hey, Huthor, catch! And a bunch of slimes would spawn. But there was, like, no cap on it either. So, you know. Here's 50 slimes! But yes, here's one of those watchers we mentioned. During the cinematic, as you can see, the test of time has not been kind. By the way, this over here is the Alliance starter area. Now, why is that significant? Because they're friendly. I can actually talk to the gnome NPC and hearth at the gnome NPC.
You have a great day now.
As a horde character.
Any friend agreeing is a friend of mine.
Yeah, there's Jeb. There's Azrathel.
We are bound by duty. Fair skies
There's Toddy.
and strong winds to you.
Adventure calls, and we will answer.
Oh, I'm gonna use. Hey, do you mind buying some of my stuff? Sure. Yeah, we're just gonna sell a bunch of stuff here to an Alliance NPC.
Have a good one.
Yep. Now the thing is, near as I can tell, now my information on this is actually a little out of date at this point. But near as I can tell, what this boils down to is that these are not actually flagged as Alliance NPCs. They are flagged as friendly NPCs. Remember, there's like a universal friendly tag, just like there's a universal hostile tag. So we can go talk with these because they're NPCs, not Alliance NPCs. But that is indeed the point. The faction divide is so far gone at this point that it actually doesn't exist. Even the quests we get in this initial bundle are identical. And then they link up in that city area up there I was just showing off. Yeah, by this point, cross-faction groups had been added. They were pretty threadbare, if I'm remembering correctly, when they first went in. It was like open world and I don't remember what else. Open world and I think that's it. It was essentially world questing is what it boiled down to. But you could actually quest with someone from the other side.
Welcome to the Dragon Isles.
We're going to hear that for a minute, by the way. Sorry. Let me jot down some notes here. Whoops, I didn't actually mean to do that. Let's go rescue this fellow. Excuse me. Hello, hello. What are you? Ah! I needed that lava bath. You're welcome. Honey, I'll name the next cave I discover after you. Zervile's Cavern has a nice ring to it. Also, lava frog. And lava snails. I know what you're thinking. Who would possibly want a lava snail? That's ridiculous. Cue up the thunder snail music from Undertale here. He's so hesitant when he comes back out. You poor little thing. Ahem. He is pretty fast for a lava snail, though. Look at him. Whee! I don't actually remember if I have the mammoth. Looks like I do. I also have that one. But this one's better. Sure, Lord Aramont. I love how I've just got pots of lava behind me. Nice place, though. Let's see. Oops. This one? No, I can kind of see it. I admittedly don't like the mammoth animation, so I'm probably not going to use this. But I do kind of see it. I'm going to have to decide what mount to use on this character, because I am going to want to mount, probably especially a ground mount at some point. Having said that... Yeah, it's the one. It's this one right here. I kind of like the snail. I don't know. I'll have to chew on that. So in case it wasn't really obvious, there's a, I believe that's a Nightborn and a Blood Elf. And then over here is a Dwarf and a Gnome. All friendly. I hate to keep hammering this point in, so please forgive me. The reason I keep hammering this point in is you have to understand. For literal years, in fact, for over a decade at this point, quite a few players, especially myself and the friends I tend to interact with, were really sick of the HVA. And when BFA brought it back, it was just like, oh, there's just this giant eye roll of, really? Seeing so many points hammering it in over and over and over again that nonsense was gone was just like this wonderful breath of fresh air. It was so gratifying. Seeing a Tauren and a Dwarf just kind of chatting, you know. Up here we've got an Orc and a Draenei, you know. There's just like, hey, what's up? In fact, we're about to do a quest which is going to hammer this point in even more. Oh yeah, and there's Toddy and Nelidea.
Have you anything new to research?
The dragons are not here to meet us as Abyssian said they would be.
Let me know what you find.
How unusual. Abyssian told us Rathian would be awaiting our arrival, along with an ambassador for Alexstrasza. It doesn't like a dragon to break a promise. At least this eager Draconid is here to greet us. Would you kindly inquire to the others while we wait for them to arrive?
I look forward to hearing what you've learned.
Actually, before we do that, we're going to turn in some other quests.
Here to spar. Let's get back to training.
So, this side quest...
Stay focused on our mission.
Akamagash, Zerviles. This expedition is under the protection of both the Horde and the Alliance. Our instructions are clear. Give aid to any member of the Dragon Scale expedition, regardless of other allegiances. The Alliance representatives, Captain Garrick and her son Henry, stand guard on the other side of the cab. I fought with Captain Garrick against the Scourge. She is honorable and will serve the expedition well. We'll offer her assistance. Sure, the Horde honors its agreements.
Never stop training.
Do you really think we can trust them, Mother? I fought alongside many honorable alliance in the Scourge invasions, Captain Garrick included. Oh, and there is, of course, an alliance equivalent of this particular side quest. Not bad, Private Garrick. Continue practicing your Orcish. It'll be useful in this effort. Yes, Mom. I mean, Captain Garrick. Oh, don't worry. This is pretty much the end of it. This camp here. It's just, you'll notice that the first, like, 5 quest bundles have all been like, look, it's done. Let it go. And then we're going to move on from it.
Together, we'll see our way through this.
Warlord Brekka proves her honor once again by sending you to me.
We'll meet again.
The crafters, artisans, and explorers of the Dragonscale expedition are ill-suited to the rigors of battle, but not you and I. Here in the Dragon Isles, let's use that strength to protect those who cannot protect themselves. Clear out the elementals approaching from the north, so the expedition can focus on their noble pursuits.
Best of luck to you.
Wish our comrade luck, Private Garrick. Henry Garrick stutters as he speaks in broken Orcish. Blood and thunder, friend.
Henry Garrick, reporting for duty.
Salud. Yeah, there is a scene, I want to say, over in War Within, where it's like, guys, it's even post-MSQ if I'm remembering the spot correctly. But no, from now on, all you're going to see is that there is no horde. There is no alliance. There's just people. I love how the enchanting trainer is just kind of hovering in the air there with goggles.
Our enemies will fall.
Tadi and Naladea have requested a survey report of the surrounding area immediately. Luckily, I have acquired an enchanted telescope and surveyor's disc that'll help us scout the nearby areas from the safety of the clouds. Unluckily, I am deathly afraid of heights and cannot bring myself to set foot in the contraption. You're not afraid of heights, are you?
The reckoning is at hand.
Rivalry is something I've always been fine with. The problem is, that's not what we've had.
Incredible. The elements here surge with power.
Ooh,
Dragon Riders? I gotta race them!
Toddy. Yeah, by War Within's time, it's been 7 years?
See a fight with that one?
Okay, you were supposed to see a djaradin there. I don't know why that didn't work.
We will persevere.
I thought for certain you'd plummet to your death from up there. I have wings.
Death to all
And
who
what's funny
oppose us.
is the last time I did this, I had wings too. Demon Hunter.
How are ya? Watch your back.
If I were told to bring the HV back, I would have structured it. First thing I'd do, okay, is I'd go to local Walmart. I'd head back to the hunting section, buy a gun, put it in my mouth, and shoot myself. Have you seen such powerful elementals? Ha! I hear the guards grumbling about having to fight them all the time, but they're missing the big picture. Bigger elementals means bigger crafts and components. We'll get at that cleaning up the elementals for our safety or whatever you're doing. Be sure to pick up the pieces, the biggest ones you can find. I want to try making something out of them.
Off with you.
Welcome, friend. Always glad to help.
Are you looking for work, Evoker? I represent a new trade company, the Artisans Consortium, which matches our artisans and clients through our crafting orders network. The Dragonscale expedition placed an order for some enchanted mining tools, and these tools are crafted. But we'd like to test them before completing. We will pay you for your services, of course.
Dionisa Ka. Clear skies and safe journeys.
Also, if I could have a moment of your time, I'm worried about another Drakthir that passed through here recently. He asked my associates all kinds of questions, but seemed disappointed with our answers. He called himself Talon Ithrethi. I believe that makes him quite junior amongst your ranks. I got the sense he could use a hand. You mind helping me keep the peace?
Please be careful, friend.
Lockross. Okay. That's an interesting question. On the classic servers, are there PvP classic servers? Real question. I do not know. Okay. Hey, Ginger Ninja. Thank you for the sub. As always. Well, yeah, there's always War Mode, but I'm going to be honest, I haven't turned War Mode on since BFA, I think. So I have no idea about that. That's completely out of my bounds of knowledge. That's pretty much what happened back in the day, too, Thor, if you remember. Resident Evil block. Homeworld block. Mass Effect Andromeda. Oh gosh, the last time I ever PvP'd, I'd have to think about that. I walked away from that pretty hard when I finished Alterac Valley. I know that sounds like I did that back in vanilla, but no, what I mean by that is, like, I went back and, like, finished Alterac Valley, got all the achievements, got all the everything. And I was like, yeah, I'm good. It's a nice capstone to it. That would have probably been around Legion, I want to say. Which I have to keep reminding myself wasn't actually that long ago. Yeah, I haven't even seen the new Battleground in War Within. I should poke at that sometime. That's one way to do that. But yeah, if memory serves, back in the day, and I mean like in the BC/Wrath era, they had a pretty hard time with servers having a severe balance, or actually imbalance, between Horde and Alliance on specific servers, which caused issues. And it was one of the bigger motivators for them doing the server merging thing. The shards thing that's active even now. What D&D stat would all the casters in FF14 use if they were in 5e? Yeah, Red Mage would probably be Charisma. I agree with that. Ooh, hello. I will help you. Or you'll just crush it, and I'll be here participating. Yeah, the thing is, I think most of them would be Charisma. Like, Scholar would probably be the only one that's Int. It's a healer. That's an interesting statement, Ross. How does Firefly relate to Star Trek? Yeah, I was thinking Sage would probably be the other Int. Astrologian doesn't feel like Int. Yeah, Astrologian feels like Wisdom to me. And I need to take a picture of Magister confessing to killing innocents. So I can use that for blackmail material later. I don't know, like, wisdom is usually more focused on interpretation, thank you, of things rather than knowledge of things, and that feels like astrologian to a T to me. Good morning, Walker. I could be wrong. It's just interpretation. Red mage is definitely charisma, that's 100%. White mage? Yeah, white mage feels like a weird one because I don't have a strong identity for white mage. Not really. Yeah, I'm torn on white mage. I do agree with summoner, and I do agree with black mage. Black mage is kind of an inverse sorcerer, ripping power. Instead of bargaining it. I'm liking the spawn rate. I don't know. I wouldn't contest white mage being Liz. So it's white mage and astrologian as wisdom, scholar and sage as int, and then everything else is charisma. Hang on, what am I missing? I'm missing something there. Blue mages don't exist. I don't know, it just feels like the filler spell, Cure White Noise. So I wasn't even thinking about it, to be honest with you. I need to swap these. There we go. Why do I keep screwing up? Pictomancer? Oh, jeez. I don't remember the lore of Pictomancer at all. Like, I have it. I've leveled it. I don't remember what the story aspect of it was. Good morning, Savicom. Congrats, by the way. Hypothetically, but still congrats.
Hi.
Oh, you mean that whirlwind the questions? I spent some time looking over me shoulder, fretting the whole time, too. I let him give the old hammer a go. Broke the shaft cleaning, too. That seemed to upset him. He asked to find any spare nails and disappeared. Didn't even get a chance to tell him how good of an arm he had. I think it should turn your ear off as well.
See you soon.
You are welcome here, Dionysa Ka.
Yeah, Garrett?
We have a mission to accomplish.
Tell Grimax the first drink is on me when we're both off our shifts. You would drink with an orc? I would, and I have, and tonight, so will you. Don't worry, that right there is the last of them really, really emphasizing the end of the HVA. I agree with Bladeville. If they kept hammering the point in, it would get old. But I don't mind them bringing the hammer down in the initial, because it really needed to be emphasized, you know. We're not all that far from BFA at this point, historically speaking. From now on, it's just going to be a mixed race thing. By the way, there's our head chef. Don't think about it too much. Definitely don't pay too much attention to the mustache. It was a bear in a Philly hat. And yes, I do play D&D. Although infrequently, because you kind of need a group and time. And, like, a good group that isn't crap. It's hard to find a group, is what I'm trying to say. Where is this person? Oh, there he is.
May I be of service?
Ah, Telin Etherity. A keen eye if ever I saw one, but a heavy gaze. I asked him if he ever skinned the beast before. He replied he was only trained to kill, not create. Ah, what a shame it is. Fingers like quicksilver, that one had. I gave him a knife for a moment. He cleaned a foot of vellum before I could so much as blink. He tore a corner in his haste, and that seemed to dampen his mood. I asked him to borrow a scratch of parchment, to which I obliged, and stalked off in the direction of Aster, which is on the far side of the camp.
Remember the lessons.
I prefer to GM, if given a choice. I have a lot of experience GMing. I've been GMing since I was 7. It's the simplest way I can put that. Correct, Kier White Noise. We're going to get as many people as we can, and we're just going to kind of do what we can with that. I know a couple of people who are actually thinking about resubbing specifically to help us with dungeons and raids, circa Dragonflight.
Anaria Shola.
You must be referring to the absolutely miserable Drakthir who came through earlier today. It's been a long time since I've seen such a dejected soul, and I'm from Golden Mist. More's the pity. He took an interest in my scribing. I do him injustice. He took more than an interest. The mind on that one, quick as a ranger's bowstring. In his melancholy, he accidentally snapped a quill. That nearly seemed to end him. He asked for another and ran off in the direction of the breached wall.
Farewell.
Yeah, I don't recognize this quest. Which I suppose makes sense. My suspicions are confirmed. These claws were meant to spill my enemy's blood, not fashion tools or beautiful things. They trained us to fight hard and die well, and that is what I intend to do. For the Kresh, Athrethi. God damn it. Alright, hang on. I gotta go save a bozo. Yeah, War Within has class-exclusive quests, too, which means I will be seeing Paladin quests for the first time. Not that I'm giving away who we're going to be playing during War Within. I used to sketch out stages, like in a Mega Man or a Mario game, on graph paper when I was young. I've always been a dork. I own it. Athrethi?
We will shape our destiny.
My Kresh's honor dictates I fall honorably in battle, so I shall fall. You realize the Consortium was really impressed with you, right?
That will be all.
They said all those things? That I have potential? Perhaps I can honor my Kresh another way. I'm not as injured as I feared, only my pride. I can make it to the embassy from here.
Great to meet you. Safe travels.
I'm gonna build a grand helmet first. No hammer! No big hammer!
Watch your back.
Bruin's eyes open wide as you hand him the promo course. Incredible! Oh, this is the best day of my life.
Safe travels.
I'm gonna make so many hammers!
How can I help?
You've raised the spirits of not just Talon or Thrathi, but the entire camp. It's not every day someone finds a new lease on life.
Clear skies and safe journeys.
Yeah, they're doing a great job, lad. Yeah, like my scale commander always said. Time and dedication forge the sharpest steel. And right they were. That's a pretty good sequence there. Oh, definitely some Bad Batch. I'm telling you, they're Republic clone troopers. And someone asked yesterday if I think that's a good or a bad thing. To be clear, I think that's a very good thing. I say without hyperbole that I think the inclusion of the clone troopers was one of the individual best inclusions to the setting Star Wars has ever had. Like on a percentage basis, you know. And I mean that. Clone troopers were such an awesome idea.
Welcome to the Dragon Isles.
Okay. It truly is an honor to be the first member of the Dragonflights to welcome you to these shores. I'm Cadet Sandrex. Please forgive my nerves. This is my first assignment. What an incredible assignment this is. Welcome again. Should we shake hands? I believe I read somewhere that mortals do that. You aren't like most mortals, are you? You've never seen a Drakthir before? Apologies. Was I staring? You must forgive me. I've never seen any of your kind before. I heard rumors from the other cadets, but it sounds like you already faced more than your fair share of hardship. I hope your time in the Dragon Isles will bring you some comfort. Same thing I wish for all the mortals. There's so many of them. Oh. Sorry, yes, Hang on. Doing this. So, this used to be an embassy for all mortals, according to my history teacher. Thousands of years ago, I think he said. History was never my strength, though. I trust the dragon spawn to tell me what I need to know. You can ask Ambassador Fastraz in the embassy tower behind me if you want to learn more.
Please enjoy your time here. It was not. Yes. I had expected Major Domo Solistra and Rathian to be here by now. But I am honored to be the one to welcome you to the Dragon Isles. On my first real assignment, no less. What good fortune. Ready to serve.
As I said, this is my first assignment. I think I said that already. Let me think of what to do.
I'm always here to help.
Oh, I know what you could do. The Dragon Scale Expedition has posted a very fine-looking map of the Dragon Isles nearby. Their drawings are quite accurate and detailed, if I say so myself. Sorry, you're not here for an art review. You should go check on it to see what areas of the Dragon Isles could use your help.
It was nice to meet you.
How about I do the zone I'm in? Just a thought.
Do you need my help? I'm always here to help. Please enjoy your time here.
I wish I knew more about how to welcome you to the Dragon Isles, but I'm only a sentry. She motions to the tower behind her. You can try talking with the Ambassador Fastraz in the Visitor Center. He might be able to answer more of your questions before the dragons arrive. Mind your step. He was clearing out rubble last I saw.
It was so you two were adversaries before leading this expedition together?
Yes. The Horde and Alliance have a long history of rivalry. But Toddy and I pursue knowledge, not violence.
And adventure! Knowledge is only half the fun.
Oh, that's interesting. So Living Flame and Azure Strike now both can proc. To make Disintegrate or Pyre cost no essence. That's interesting. I'm gonna grab both of those. And yeah, that's an alt-only quest. That's why we're just gonna kind of skip right over that.
Welcome, honored guest!
Savacom, your voice sounds so different.
What service may I offer?
Anyways, I should answer Zara's question. Last I checked, Twitch is not going under anytime soon, but if it does, the automatic and immediate backup is YouTube. If YouTube goes away because YouTube sucks for streaming. If YouTube goes away for streaming, well, then that also sucks. And at that point, that's what the knife is for. Let's see. Yes. There are actually options other than Twitch or YouTube. They're just non-viable. Now, Savacom, first of all, thank you very, very much, as always. I do always appreciate you. Thank you. Second of all, you didn't put it towards anything. Unless you just want to put it towards the same things you put your patronage towards, which I happen to collate this morning. Yeah, ironically, Pornhub has stopped being a viable streaming alternative. Oh, right. Your first choice was for me to take some time and let's go with no right now. No, it is pathetic, isn't it, Five? Sorry, I should explain that for those of you who don't know me. So for those of you who don't know, Pornhub actually has an entire non-porn section of the site, which is dedicated to just normal stuff. And there's like, you can find movies, you can find streamers, there's all kinds of other stuff there. I actually do have a Pornhub account specifically in case I ever need it, and because I like to reserve accounts wherever. So what they changed was very recently, just a few months ago, I want to say, they made it so that there's now this new user content ID law, which means that in certain states, and because it is a state-by-state thing, you actually cannot even access those sites unless you already have a set-up account and all that kind of stuff. Now, you might think, well, that's a really small barrier to entry, but actually it's a gargantuan barrier to entry, which has demonstrably reduced traffic to those sites. So it would mean you would have to make and set up a Pornhub account and verify that you're an adult on that account in order to then be able to watch me stream. And you can already see why that suddenly goes from being awful to completely unacceptable as far as an alternative. And obviously, no minors, duh. But, like, that's kind of already a rule. I could stream on Facebook. No, I think it's actually specifically you have to, like, put in your credit card info even if you don't pay anything or something like that. I'm not sure of the specifics because I haven't looked that far into it. But as soon as I saw that requirement, I was like, well, that's gone. Okay, so this is going towards... Yeah, no, exactly. Several people, even if it was completely free and just involved making an account, would still probably not want to make an account on Pornhub because it's called Pornhub. Streaming on Discord, extremely unviable. Streaming on Rumble, no. For Heroes of Light, Princess Maker. What's the specific Princess Maker we decided on for that? Because there was a specific one. The only, yeah, I was literally about to say the only thing worse than Rumble is Kick, or whatever it's called. Princess Maker Refine, that's what it's called. And yeah, Crick is garbage. Do not ever go to Kick. That's my professional statement for the day. I'm losing the message. Where was it? There it is. JRPGs. Okay. It's not like I disagree with you, Magister, but the problem here is there really isn't a feasible alternative. Even the second best alternative, YouTube, sucks for streaming. Most of the people who stream on YouTube specifically do so just to avoid having to stream on Twitch. Just because it's the easy answer for them. They're already YouTube established, so they stay on YouTube. Branding, right? That's it. Yeah, by the way, if I stream on Kick, stop watching me. I have been replaced by an alien or a shapeshifter or a freaking dreadlord, okay? I literally would stop streaming before I would start streaming on Kick. Like, I would just quit completely. The Jailer. What am I doing? If it miraculously becomes a good platform, then it's forever stained by the name. If the Nazi Party suddenly became this wonderful, beneficial party of good and joy, it's still called the Nazi Party. Also, I agree with Asmira started. The odds of it actually somehow becoming a good platform are effectively zero. Why is your embassy in ruins? Oh, you have my sincerest apologies for the current state of the embassy. We've only recently begun repairs to restore the embassy to its former glory as a shining beacon to all the denizens of Azeroth. I trust the hospitality of the Dragonkin you meet on your journey more than makes up for your lack of physical comforts. Please rest as long as you like before partaking in the wonders of the Dragon Isles at your own pace. But why do you have an embassy from mortals? The Dragonflights are proud to have been entrusted by the Titans as guardians of Azeroth, but they recognize they're not alone on this planet or in that effort. The embassy was established to welcome mortals to our shores and teach them our ways, our flights, our change, all in the hopes that mortals would be willing to stand alongside us in defense of Azeroth when needed. Okay.
Take this guide. It shows the embassy's many amenities. If they weren't all in disrepair, that is.
Oh yeah, there's a really minor thing, little story tidbit. The Dragon Isles didn't open up last week. They've actually been open for a while, and the dragons have already been swooshing back, and, well, let's just say that we're just now getting here. I only point that out because for one of the first times in a while, we're actually a little bit behind the line, you know, the curve of exploring a new area. Like, if you remember, in Shadowlands and BFA and Legion, actually, we were right there at the front. Okay, let's see here. First column asks for my name. Zerviles, the real Queen of the Dragons. Rathion's BFF. Dreamy Eyes Calicos. The Angry Ghost, Yovizera. Alexstrasza, the Lifebinder, Queen of Dragons. Razageth. Grand Evoker. Drakthir Evoker. Stonehead? I don't get that one. I like several of these, but we're gonna play this straight. Drakthir Evoker. Middle column. Arrival date. Today's date, hour, minute, and second. Tomorrow. The not too distant future. As quickly as I could. Sorry, I'm late. I'm always late. Precisely when I mean to. After everyone's done setting up, which is actually true. Last call, I hope. I don't believe in time. Time is just an illusion. Final column. As purpose of visit. Okay, so I'm going to do these in order. To aid the Dragonflights. Accompanying the Dragonscale expedition. Personally invited by Alexstrasza. For the Horde. For the Alliance. For Azeroth. For the cute baby ducks. My purpose is my own. To save the world. Again. To help those in need. To best mighty foes in glorious battle. Why does anyone do anything? Epic loot. I was dragged here by someone I care about, and you tell me. I don't read quests, I just complete them. What I love about this is these top ones are fairly basic stuff, but then we've got Horde, people who are a little bit too attached to the Horde, people who are a little bit too attached to the Alliance, people who are really too attached to the story, people who love the cute things, people who don't like answering questions, people who are here for the plot, people who are here for the side quests, people who are here for the raid battles, people who are here for the loot, people are here because they're playing this game because someone else made them, and people who are just here to have something to do to waste their time. All of these are real player archetypes that play WoW. All of this. I know it's weird, Loke. I will say, for Azeroth.
What a joy it is to see new signatures in the visitor's log after all these years.
I would too, Fife. It would, you know, they keep track of those statistics, so it would be great to see who picks what in what numbers. Oh, and yeah, by the way, ducks, that's a real thing. There's a duck thing in Dragonflight. You'll see what I mean.
Queen Alexstrasza is far more impressive than any statue you'll find in the Isles.
I don't know. I've seen some statues. Welcome, friend to the Dragonflights. May your journey in the Dragon Isles bring you tranquility, confidence, and camaraderie. While you travel these isles, reflect on this portion of the tablet's been broken off. Remember our oaths to Azeroth, symbolizing the oath stones at the seat of power for each Dragonflight. We ask, this portion is broken off, for life and for Azeroth. Alexstrasza, Lifebinder, Queen of the Dragons. Yeah, we have killed quite a few impressive statues in our career.
May this brazier once more guide every peaceful denizen of Azeroth to these shores.
Hang on a second. This isn't World of Peacecraft. Get out of here with that.
Ready to serve. I'm always here to help.
The embassy's looking better already. Is every Drakthir as helpful as you are? I can't wait to meet more.
Please enjoy your time.
Yeah, there's this guy named Sarkareth.
I'm always here to help.
She looks puzzled. I've never known the Major Domo to be this late to anything, much less this late to something this important. Most unusual. I can use my emergency signal flare to alert them to your arrival. Then they would rush to greet you immediately. I've never fired the emergency signal flare before, though.
It was nice to meet you.
Yeah, we defeated a mannequin once.
Welcome to the Dragon Isles. We were trained to only use these signal flares if the situation is
So many
dire.
players here.
But I suppose this is a type of emergency. There. Major Domo Solistra will arrive soon.
Does the Major Domo personally respond to every call for help?
Oh, yes. In times of trouble, there is no one Queen Alexstrasza trusts more.
Oh, I know. This is
Here they come.
the default leveling experience, so it makes sense.
Incredible.
Ah, look who we have here.
Hi.
We saw the flare and assumed the worst. What is wrong, Cadet Sandrax?
Major Domo, the new arrivals were wondering where you were, and I thought...
I see. There was a reason for our absence. An ancient rival, the Djaradin, have stirred to violence once again.
Now, that's a local
Dragonheart
threat.
Outpost has already fallen.
Yeah, so, in case you missed that, there's, I believe, our first Volpera visage of the dragons. So cute.
Do you trust me?
Well then, Zerviles, what do you say? Do you fancy a fight alongside your newfound dragon acquaintances? I assure you there's no quicker way to earn their trust.
The Black Talon are
The
always...
Djaradin are a local threat. They are the definition of a local threat. You ever play Warcraft 3? In Warcraft 3, there's this thing called creeps, which actually stands for something, but I forget what. It's been a long time. But the idea is they're random enemies that happen to be in an area that are there to gain extra bits of gold, resources, such as equipment, and most importantly of all, experience. That's what they're there for. They're there to be the things that you go kill while you get ready for the actual battle. So that's what the Djaradin are. They're creeps. Any further attempts to develop them is something that I wouldn't encourage, because really, that is all that they are. And as weird as this sounds, I'm actually fine with that. Every expansion has either reused or developed new creeps for each of the area. Like we had the hopper things over in Pandar. I can't think of their damn names. The rabbit things, right? And technically the Sauroch, while we're on the subject. In Warlords... Oh god, that's another... Vermin, thank you. They're even called vermin. In Warlords, we had those roly dudes. And let's see, what else did we have in Warlords? I feel like we had a few other things. But of course, I can't think of it right now. You get the point, though. Every expansion has at least one creep that's there to be generic enemies that you fight. The only weird thing about the Djaradin is that we see a lot of them. Like, they show up as bosses a lot. It's strange. But anyways.
What is your need?
I'm confused. Are you a dragon or a Volpera? He smiles kindly. Well, that's a curious question. Can a person be only a single thing? I've not found that to be true. In fact, I found it more likely to be one of many things simultaneously. You, I can tell, are far more than just a Drakthir or an Evoker, and I am more than just a dragon. Well, I'm actually still a Drake, technically. But you can see I'm now in my chosen visage as Volpera. I hope in time you'll see me more the rest... I read too fast. And I hope that in time you will see the rest of me as well. I am more than just an anything. But what does the Major Domo do? And yeah, Devourers are the same thing over in Shadowlands, to answer Jay Palmer. We also had the Gorm, but the Devourers were the big one. Devourers even showed up in raid bosses, if you remember. As Major Domo, I am entrusted by Queen Alexstrasza to oversee much of the day-to-day operations of our dragonflight. I see her orders carried out swiftly and appropriately. I respond to distress signals, like the one that Cadet Sendrax errantly sent us now. Raises an eyebrow at the Sendrax, who glances away. As a more direct answer to your question, I serve my queen, my flight, and our visitors. Probably in that order. Wherever I'm needed, I go. For life. That's awful.
The Queen's blessings upon you.
I wish we'd had time for more pleasant introductions, but we can't all be Chronomer, can we? I am Silistra, Major Domo of Alexstrasza, the Lifebinder, Queen of Dragons. Queen Alexstrasza has asked me to convey her kindest regards and escort you to her life pools, but I'm afraid I must ask for your assistance before we go meet her. Our ancient rivals, the djaradin, have awoken from their slumber under the earth and have assaulted a nearby outpost.
Your rival is not always your enemy. Cadet Sendrax, escort the adventurer to Commander Lethanak outside Dragonheart Outpost. Assist with the evacuation of the whelplings and wounded.
Yes, Major Domo.
Rathian and I will take to the skies and keep the djaradin contained inside Scalecracker Keep.
Do hurry along, champion. After all, we wouldn't want the battle to be over before you even arrive.
Engage only when the whelplings and wounded are secure. The rest of the visitors must remain here until it is safe to leave the embassy.
Oh, I'm gonna miss all the fun.
There's plenty to study here before we move on, Toddy.
We each have a duty before us. By wing or by talon, see it done.
Oh, do you need my help?
Djaradin have awoken. That's not good.
Please enjoy your time here.
I've only read of the Djaradin in books. Ancient rivals to the dragons, powerful giants with mastery over earth and lava, dedicated wholly to hunting dragons to extinction. And there you go. That is the full extent of the lore of the Djaradin. I am not joking. They are giants of earth and lava who have a rivalry with dragons. That's it. My instructor said they haven't been seen since the dragons left, as they slumbering deep in the earth. If they've awoken, every whelpling on the Isles is in danger. Follow me. I'll take us to Commander Lethanak at the Dragonheart Outpost.
It was nice to meet you.
We'll launch expeditions to every corner of these isles as soon as it's safe to do so.
Oh, where's the fun in being safe?
Ready to serve. We'll move swiftly. Dragonheart Outpost isn't far. According to legend, the djaradin are the dragon's most formidable rivals. They were ruthless and powerful, killing countless dragons in ancient times. When the dragons left, and the land went dormant, so too did the djaradin slumber.
Oh, so they're Vrykul.
But now, the land itself reawakens with glorious life. May we never tire of its beauty.
By the way, you like that setup?
The dragonids have stayed vigilant as we safeguarded the Oath Stones, symbols of the Dragonflight's power. The return of the djaradin will test us to the limit. May we prove worthy of the challenge. Commander Lethanak, Cadet Sendrax and ally reporting on the Major Domo's orders.
So, real quick, I just want to re-emphasize how nicely designed that was. So we land on the waking shores, and what do we see? Well, first thing we see is the rocky, molten terrain over here, right? It's the actual earth, or early stuff. This is the bit where the lava is reaching the sea, creating the stone. Okay, cool. As we sketch our way a little bit further up, we start to see a little bit of green and some ruins of cities. But it's all still kind of ruiny, right? Yeah, this is all very black dragonflight-coated terrain. It doesn't change until we listen to her, Sendrax, as we come up and we see that. And I did that a little bit too quickly. Apologies. Let me scooch back here a little bit. Because it's one of the example of them kind of shaping the camera without actually taking control of the camera from the player. Because as we come up, we literally see, like, there's a molten tree right there. And we're still on the craggy, broken terrain here. But as we start to see in the distance, there's a couple of trees and a blue sky. And then we turn around here, continue to follow, and that is now the view that awaits us. And this is a very well-crafted shot right here. They were doing this a lot in Shadowlands, if you remember. Really deciding what you're going to see at any given moment. This is a huge portion of the Waking Shores. We can actually see as far, like that tower in the distance, which is so far away I can't even ping it. That's actually the next zone, the Odoran Plains. And that's Valdrakken up there in the upper left. And we can actually see parts of the Black Dragon Fortress over there in the distance. This is a huge swath of visible terrain, very carefully designed so we can see right through those cliffs. I forget, it's the city, J. Palmer. I forget what it's called, this terrain type, in real life, where there's like, it's not mountains, but it's like a jut of land here, and then like a spike of land here, and then a spike of land here. So it looks like a whole bunch, Utah. So it looks like a whole bunch of canyons that all just kind of merged into like an endless canyon. Is this a fjord? I'm really not sure, but you probably do know what I'm talking about because you're staring at it right now. The Tuskars actually were explained in the Drakthir Starter Zone, believe it or not. They came here very, very early on when the Isles first awoke. Remember, that the Drakthir stuff and the opening of the Isles happened a bit ago. Like in the months or possibly year range. We're not actually sure of exact numbers because Warcraft is allergic to timelines. But it's been a minute. So the Tuskar are here. They're new. Oh. The Centaur I'm not so sure about. I'll have to look into that.
What's the situation?
Overwhelming force. What can you tell me about the Djaradin? Overwhelming force applied directly. Force on force, and may the strongest survive. There's a simplicity of their battle plan that I appreciate. I can't wait to strike back when we've secured our vulnerable.
Dismissed. Report back. For the Lifebinder. Protect your allies.
They descended upon us before we could even respond. My guards held as long as they could as we evacuated the young and helpless, but I fear there's more within the outpost. Cross that bridge, search for survivors.
For the Lifebinder.
We may not have the power to take back the outpost, but we don't have to surrender without a fight. Show them that we still have teeth.
Report, I am trusting you with the lives of my brethren.
Yeah, speaking of which... apparently I can't earn extra rep with them? That's interesting. Whatever. Doesn't matter, I suppose. So far, I'm really liking this, by the way, whoever asked about this. It's got its limitation compared to straight-up flying, but I really like it as a contrast. And I'm probably going to stick with it for quite a while. I also like my dragon form quite a bit, although I haven't found an outfit I really like for it yet. Which just makes sense because I'm limited to shoulders and belt. So these are Djaradin. I like how elongated they look. Like, under normal circumstances, I would call that ugly or crude, but it kind of works for the Djaradin. They really do look like something that is old, I think is the word I'm looking for. Almost primordial might actually be a better word. Which makes sense. These are primordial fire giants who don't like dragons. That's kind of their shtick. Oh, that's an evader. Yeah, they're kind of half elemental, half flesh. You get the idea that these were probably afflicted by the curse of flesh and then, like, sealed away or whatever pretty quickly. These are closer to trogs than anything else. It is Badlands, okay. I was curious. It's funny, because I don't associate something this green and lush with Badlands, but here we are. Then again, it's probably artificially being kept green. That range limit is just throwing me. Okay, so there's our proc indicator. I'll have to play with the other one for a bit. By the way, have you noticed how the quest design is noticeably better than back in Shadowlands? No, I mean that. We have to kill 6 things and save 4 things. Think about that for a second. I mean, that sounds like the definition of a desert, which is defined by precipitation. Oh, BFA has better quest design than Shadowlands by quite a margin. Shadowlands, honestly, was pretty rough. BFA was crude in several times, but Shadowlands was really bad. Oh, I never answered Blateval's question. I need to do that at some point. Yeah, this is more a return to form. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Good quest design boils down to QA testing and polish, going back over it and saying, okay, hang on. Maybe instead of 8 things, we need to rescue 6 things, or whatever. Something like that, right? Yes, you, actually, you asked, all things being considered equally, which do I prefer, BC or Shadowlands? And the reason I didn't answer you immediately is we kind of had to establish a rule before we could actually answer that question. The rule in this case being, are we saying as if I went back and did it now, or when it was new?
The Shrine Guard protect.
We cannot rest yet, but I breathe easier knowing you've rescued them. Thank you.
Dismissed. Protect your allies.
Yeah, put it right there. Cadet Sendrax has informed me of our Major Domo's plans. Thank the Lifebinder we have their help. Their interference gives us the reprieve we need to get our wounded back to the life pools to be treated. I wish I could reinforce Silistra, but I must keep my guards near the wounded. Go to the enemy stronghold to meet them. If there was another way of handling the djaradin, I would ask it, but as it were, do what you must.
Dismissed.
The wagon is ready to go.
Wait. I need you for another vital task, Cadet.
I will see it done, even if it costs me my life.
Easy, young one. We will need our most veteran warriors to combat the rise of our ancient enemies. Head to the Lifebinder Conservatory and rally the Draconid to the life pools.
Right away, Commander Lethanak.
Would you believe I'm still kind of torn on that, Blanterval? The problem is both suck, so much so that I never plan to play either of them ever again. Unlike Alchemist, who's going to play Shadowlands tomorrow. Let's see, Borderlands 2, FTL, and Dusk. Same ones as the Patreon. Thank you, Alchemist. Always appreciate you. And for your patronage. That's kind of a cool little setup there. Built here. Alright, I should read this out loud. The wounded are stabilized, but something still troubles me. A pair of Dragonsworn ecologists had come to the outpost to study the wetlands. I haven't heard scale nor claw of them since the attack, and it's become worrisome. If you're venturing out, would you mind keeping an eye out and make sure they're safe? And do take care. Rumor has it the wetlands are Gorlock infested. Over here. These creatures died traumatically, Thara. We must treat the remains respectfully. What's more respectful than finding out what's killing them as quickly as we can? We're supposed to preserve life, Ishka, not carefully observe it. All I meant is you could stand to be more gentle during dissections. Okay.
The waters flow again.
Why are there so many deceased? By the way, have you noticed a large increase in optional dialogue options? That's going to be a trend going forwards. Hang on.
May the waters protect you.
There we go. These are brackish wetlands, meaning the water here is a mix of salt water from the sea and fresh water from the rivers. This creates quite the unique ecosystem, as plants and animals that would ordinarily only live in one another can thrive together.
Honor all dragons.
An attack on Dragonheart Outpost? That does sound serious, but as you can see, we're currently dealing with our own crisis.
Until we meet again. Go with the aspects.
I believe we've gathered enough data safely from here, but Faru is an exceptional ecologist and prefers we take action. Still, the ecosystem is fragile and we may damage it if we're not careful. I do, however, agree we don't have much time. It might be worth indulging him. A little. Pulling the rampaging elementals ought to buy us time without impeding our research. Be sure to call them in equal numbers. We don't want to throw things further out of balance.
May the flights protect us.
Try not to touch anything. All I need is a contaminated workspace and compromised data.
The waters flow once more.
Aren't you concerned about the attack in the outpost? It's not working.
Continue to serve.
It doesn't take an ecologist to see the wetlands are in real trouble, but Ishka's got us here stuck examining dead creatures. We ought to be stopping them from dying in the first place. The Red Dragonflight is about preserving life, not dissecting it. I love Ishka, and he's good at what he does, but if we wait until he's done puttering, there won't be any wetlands left to save. I'll manage his overthinking. You get out there and get your boots muddy. Rescue some wildlife.
Until we meet again.
Remember, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty.
The Isles have awakened.
So now that I have a quest. On a story axis, Shadowlands is undoubtedly more aggravating, but undeniably better overall than BC. It sounds weird to say it that way, because BC kind of had an absence of story, but honestly, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Absence of a positive is better than presence of a negative. So, yeah, I kind of stand by that. Having said that, if you take into account all the Shadowlands, there's some good stuff out there. Which is almost frustrating, really. Because it's surrounded by so much dreck. So the question is, do I go through a story I barely enjoy, alongside gameplay that I can't stand, or do I go through a story that I enjoy except when I actively hate it, along gameplay that I can barely stand? You can see why I'm so torn on this one, Blade of all. I got you. See, that's the question. Did it poison the well? And as I've made very clear, it definitely tried to. Probably without malice, as I've given my theory on that already, but Shadowlands tried very, very hard to poison all of Warcraft in a way that was kind of unprecedented. Obviously, I personally think it has failed because here I am, still enjoying the game. It's the Mass Effect 3 thing all over again. I can't get away from Mass Effect 3. Oh, I noticed, Grey Wolf. We are, I keep checking to make sure that we're still scaling correctly, and we are. We're just one-shotting everything. Jesus. We also have a lot of competition. Lots of players here. And, I mean, I mentioned this earlier, but for those of you who missed it, this is the default leveling experience. If you make a new character, what happens is you go from 1 to 10, wherever you are, and then the moment you hit 10, Abyssian or Rathian says, "Hey, come to the Dragon Isles," and then you go to the Dragon Isles. So, yeah, this is the leveling area. It makes a lot of sense that we're going to be seeing a lot of players out here. We'll probably see players over in War Within as well, because that's the current expansion. Either way, at the end of the day, I think I would rather play Shadowlands than BC. Which I suppose makes sense. It did score better, and that score usually is reflective of my opinion on the matter. Right. It's up there. I don't remember what that is. For all the garbage of the jailer and some very questionable quest design, I am never playing BC again. Yeah, the jailer by himself, if you remember, because we did some calculations on that, flipped what was a net positive expansion to a net negative. And yeah, exactly, Magister. At least BC has some sense to it. Shadowlands has none. And yeah, Shadowlands did still have some good quests and some good zone design and some good characters and good moments. All you had to do is completely ignore the main plot. Yep, the Dragon Isles. Oh, wait, fine. Fine, Rathion. God, so needy. Okay, I know your father didn't love you. Trust me, I understand. Actually, yeah, played Turfall. It's impressive when you think about it. What's this called? Oh, yeah. I don't know if I actually ever shared this on camera. Did I ever tell? I don't remember if I shared the results of Kurthia. I feel like I did. But Kurthia is, in fact, the worst zone we've ever covered. To put this into a bit of perspective, Blade's Edge, which is the previous worst zone, was a net negative 13. That was negative 2 on story and negative 11 on gameplay. It had a bit of competition from, let's see, Ghostlands, Blood Mist, and there was another one that was really bad. Looks like, oh, here it is. Dustwallow Marsh. And Ice Cream. All of those were pretty bad scores, right? Kurthia was negative 21. What's really sad is if you the Shadowlands zones are interesting in their own way. So we've got Oribos, which is the worst city in the game, which is awful. The Maw, which was actually pretty good. Like, the Maw, weirdly enough, scored reasonably well, and arguably I agree with that. Bastion was pretty decent, plus 13 to story, minus 1 to gameplay. Maldraxxus was plus 2 to story, minus 2 to gameplay. Maldraxxus was such a weird exception. It feels so tacked on going back through it. Then we have Ardenweald, which was plus 27 plus 1. So yeah, it scored extremely well. Revendreth, which was plus 15 plus 7, technically making it the best overall zone. And then there's Kurthia, which was negative 11, negative 10, making it the worst zone in the entire game. I sincerely doubt we'll have a challenger to Kurthia anytime soon, unless somehow magically the Undermine is terrible. Based on what I've been hearing, that does not appear to be the case. What, for Kurthia? That's actually going to take a minute to look, because I have to pull up the document, which is huge and literally takes a minute to load. So, give me a sec to do that. While that's doing that, I'm making an incision next to the left dorsal spine, and if you don't like it, You're risking the dorsal spine avulsion. Why won't you listen to me? Oh, Zerviles, I didn't see you return. Tharu and I can discuss this later.
Aspect's grace shine down on you.
There, wetlands are fixed. In the meantime, Ishka is still doing his research. What do you mean the elementals keep coming?
Stand firm in your duty.
Did that seem to affect anything? No? At least we're nearly finished with our research.
Aspects watch over you. For Dragonkind.
I'm at my wit's end. Thor and I have made our way through nearly all the corpses only to stumble at the end because we cannot agree on methodology. If only he just listened to me! The stress of the situation is getting to us both. I don't even have a firm hypothesis yet. You look like you have a strong stomach. Will you take the last 2 Gorloks? You can borrow my scalpel.
Go with the aspects.
Sure. Enlarged swim bladders. Water magic? Yeah, but look at the lungs. It clearly suffocated. Curious, its bones are hollow. Wind infused? Maybe, but that bloating, it surely drowned. Wind and water Gorloks fighting one another. Ah, what nonsense are they bickering over? Are those shells? Elemental magic shells? You're right, there's a lot more to this. Their elemental bickering must be spilling out over the wetlands.
The Isles have awakened.
It's the Gorloks fighting that's been harming the wetlands, so... I think I understand now.
For Dragonkind.
A sledgehammer of a solution. While I'm glad Tharo now sees my point of view, I'm also grateful he had you rescue wildlife while I was dawdling. The situation is much more dire than anticipated. He was right to take action. With what we've learned, I fear this elemental bombardment won't stop until we've dealt with the Gorloks. If I were Tharu and thinking actionably, I would go straight for their leaders. Without anyone to rally around, the fighting should dissipate and no longer threaten the wetlands.
May the flights protect us.
You're right to step in, Tharu. This is more dire than I anticipated.
I never gave up hope. May the flights protect you.
I was a fool to doubt Ishka when he insisted there was more to this. He wouldn't be my mate if he wasn't always 2 steps ahead of me. We can make it up to him, by taking action, of course. If it's shells that are causing chaos, why don't you go to the camp and take those shells right out of their slimy hands? Bring back piles of the wind and water shells, enough for Ishka to research to his heart's content.
Aspects watch over you.
I'm sorry, Ishka. I should have listened when you said there was more going on. So let's see. In answer to Blade Javal's other question... Negatives to gameplay for Korthia. Quest design, overworld design, overworld design, guidance, flow, unskippable cutscenes, and... hang on, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9... Where's the other one? And then quest design, and then quest design. There you go. Yeah, getting around that zone really sucked. And not just because it limited you to the ground. A zone that limits you to the ground can work, can be interesting even. Korthia is neither of those things. I'm sorry, little Gorloks, but I must murder you. For the greater good! God, where's all the enemies? I'm gonna lose a proc because there's nothing to kill! Hashtag other players, am I right? Good lord. This place is fleeced. So, I mentioned ducks. This duckling flails around frantically inside the bubble, quacking in fright. I got you, little dude. Do that. Well, I got you either way. I do believe, historically speaking, this is our first duck in WoW. Like, from the player's perspective. Yeah, I'm not actually joking. This expansion introduced ducks. I mean, if there was ever a time to introduce a duck or goose boss, it was probably in the raid that just came out. So here's the wind Gorloks. Oh, there's another player coming. I'm gonna let them get a tag too. Quick, get your tag, get your tag. Ah, they took too long. Not that I'm aware of. In fact, I'm pretty sure they're just using the chicken mesh over there. It'd be easier to see if I saw them in motion. But all I have is this little floaty guy here. I'll check later. Yeah, no, someone actually brought it up during one of the BlizzCon Q&As. I remember that one. Ducks! By the way, the co-op is back. You notice that? I mean, I knew that anyways because I played this entire expansion with a friend twice. But we're back to being fully co-op friendly. That's nice. Whoop, whoop, whoop. As I say, that movement is definitely different from a chicken. The legs are a dead giveaway. Of course, this is a different model, too. I don't know if that's a different one. Delicious duck. Think about all the fowl we could kill and eat. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I always get salivatory when I see meat that I can consume. Or, sorry. Try double checking something really quick here. Doubt I need any of these at this point, but you never know. Might as well hold on to them. That's true, I'm a dragon. Is it okay to eat a duck if I'm a dragon? Can dragons eat vegetables? That's actually a good question. Like, some species, if I remember correctly, are not capable of eating anything other than meat proteins. is when someone in chat says, "No, you're wrong!" Which is entirely possible. I don't know. I'm not a biologist. Hey, Adam Ciuta. Yeah, it's almost like they came out swinging with The Waking Shores. Which is funny, because I anticipate that story score is going to go up. Right about when we get to Zarlek, I think. Yeah, I think that's about where it's going to happen. Well, that's interesting, Bragwin. I know it's weird being positive about a game. I don't know how to deal with this. So that explains why the ponies in My Little Pony eat pigs! It all makes sense. I remember the Azure Span pretty well, I'm not gonna lie. Oh my god, this place is so farmed out right now. The Honor and Plains will probably be an honest dip in overall quality. I mean, I think it'll be a net positive, but I don't think it's going to compete with the big zones, you know? Also, I am almost guaranteed going to give a negative to cutscene in the Honor and Plains, because there's a cutscene where we're in the cutscene, standing there, rendered, like we have been for a while. And then something bad's going to happen, and we're just going to be standing there, like, munching on popcorn, you know? Pass the Diet Coke. Oh, is it my turn now? Can I do something? It's probably not even that big of a deal, but I remember it because it just stuck out in my mind as a what? Kind of a moment. Get some good lunch, get some good sleep. Well, you're not getting lunch. Sorry, I thought you said you were going to eat lunch. My bad. Don't get lunch, Lunarith, but do get sleep.
Welcome. It has been so long.
Ishka, look at this little guy. Zerviles, did you bring this duckling to us to keep it safe? I think he likes it here. What should we call you, little one? Thorough, we can't possibly keep him. Waddles! His name is Waddles.
We serve once more.
That ought to leave them scrambling, for a while at least. Thank you for your help.
Honor all dragons.
That should buy some time for everything to calm down again. But we have to remain vigilant. That'll be easier now that we're not bickering worse than the Gorlocks.
We safeguard the Isles.
Ishka and I will take back... Oh my god. Ishka and I will take these back to the life pool, somewhere where they can't cause any more troubles. You've done good work here today.
Honor all dragons.
Don't worry, we'll take care of Waddles while you're gone. Waddles, where are you going? Waddles! Waddles, no! Waddles. Oh, okay, he's just roaming around. We're cool. We lost Waddles. Life is meaningless. Is there a rescue all ducks achievement? Asking for a friend. Meanwhile, back to Djaradin lands here. Oh hey, a bonus objective. I look forward to seeing how much of that we accomplish naturally. Akin to gunpowder, the inferno pods explode when they fully mature, spreading the seeds. The djaradin gather them when they're just flowering and use them to get their forges to the right molten temperature. Oh, sure, it's optional. Unless you want to see the true ending.
Champion! Good news from the outpost, I hope?
I apparently do not have Let's Get Quacking. I also need to get this achievement, but that can wait.
You stand before the Black Prince.
Just nominate it, Kenix. Do it. It does my heart well to hear such good news from the Dragonheart outpost during such a terrible time. The refugees will be safe at the life pools. Even the djaradin would not raise arms against the mighty Queen of Alexstrasza herself.
The Black Talon are always watching.
Ah, yes, I saw the leader of the Giants headed back from the raid shortly after I arrived. She's celebrating their victory somewhere in the camp. It would be a shame if someone were to interrupt her revelries, wouldn't you think?
Every action has consequences.
While Silistra and I attract their eyes above, shadows crept in for their defenses. My agents, the Black Talon, are keeping an eye and ear throughout the keep. Meet them and let them know you're on our side. They'll give you some valuable information on our allies. And by allies, I mean our enemies. Slightly different.
Learn from? We will draw their eyes above for you. That should give you some cover. We will meet you at a forward position when you've done some good work.
So, games I've played that make me want to 100% them on replay. I hate to ask such a question, but how are we defining 100%ing?
Come then. The Red Dragon flight wasn't ready for the surprise attack. The djaradin seemed to be hoping for a tougher fight next time.
Okay, 90%ing? That is actually pretty different. I can think of a lot of games where I really enjoy 90%ing and I'm not really a big fan of actually 100%ing it. In that case, there's actually quite a few I could think of. Yeah. 90% is usually defined as all content, all upgrades. 80% is all content. At a glance, there seems to be an internal communication between djaradin camps. The words Obsidian Citadel leap out at you. Maybe Raytheon would like to see this. So, all content, all upgrades, that's 90%. FF6 and Chrono Trigger both immediately come to mind for that. On most replays, I like to go ahead and max out my speed, for example, which, for those of you know, either involves some very specific stealing or a couple of new game pluses in Chrono Trigger. So, FF6, Chrono Trigger.
What is it? The djaradin were ancient foes of the dragons for a good reason. They're formidable fighters. The dragons left and the djaradin seized the moment. And they don't seem like they want to give it back.
It's been a while, hasn't it? The djaradin consider the outpost a well-earned victory against their ancient foes. They're already talking about another raid, and another, and another. It seems this is just the beginning. Yeah,
you know what? Mario Odyssey is actually a good pick. When I re-review Mario Odyssey, I fully intend to get all moons. With the possible exception of one. Again. Also, while we're on the subject, Mario Wonder. Oh yeah, and yeah, Mega Man games, I actually thought about Mega Man games and I realized that kinda doesn't count. Like, there's not a lot of optional stuff in general in Mega Man games. You know, Mega Man X1, yeah, get all the upgrades, sure. That's like adding 20 minutes to the game time, right? As far as specific Mega Man X games that I'll 100%, Mega Man X1 is an obvious one. I think I'll go ahead and add 4 and 5 to that list. So Mega Man X1, 4, and 5. I know what you're saying, but you yourself said that 2 was really good when you re-reviewed it. Yeah, actually. Much better than I remembered, but that's the problem. I'm not as familiar with X2. One of these days I need to start replaying it some more so I can have most of those things memorized. I'd have to actually look up stuff in X2. However, I suppose in the interest of fairness, I would actually look up stuff. Hello, off the deeper end.
It seems our fates are...
Right, I was going to look something up. Warbound. Let's try this. So it looks like we haven't given any warband positives or negatives at all yet, which makes sense. I'm almost positive I was going to bake that into War Within. So, the answer to you, Huthor, is we're going to debate that when we get there. Interesting question, though. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
The Djaradin seem to have no shortage of bodies to throw in our way, but perhaps this blow will give them pause. Well done.
I serve my queen.
Until next time.
Troubling, to say the least. Yet another reason to fight, though.
Azeroth.
Oh, a treat! I love seeing into the minds of my enemies. Helps me strike fast, strike true. Let's see. The Obsidian Citadel. No. No!
Never. The Djaradin scheme to claim the Obsidian Citadel. The Black Dragonflight's seat of power. Enough of this!
Patience, Rathian.
I will have the luxury of patience when they are scoured from my home!
And that's pretty much Rathian in one sentence right there. Completely cool as a cucumber and on top of everything, until anything whatsoever bothers him. The moment it does, all that goes right out the window. Let's actually think about this for a second. So, given the new timeline, Rathian at this point in time is... 13, I want to say. 13 years old. And yeah, that tracks. He's also one of the richest individual people in the world. Has command of his own intelligence/rogue operative agency that he sort of inherited from Ravenholm. And that's an interesting combo for someone who is 13.
What is your need?
So why do the Djaradin hate dragons? Hate's a strong word. We of the Red Flight do not hate the Djaradin, nor do I believe they hate us. They seek fair opposition above all, and dragons are the strongest foes that they can find. We fight to prevent them from rampaging across the lands. We take no joy in their deaths.
I will await you. Lifebinder be with you.
Commander Lethanak was insightful, as always. We will need the help of our most veteran guard to stop their threat. Rallying them was the perfect task for a young cadet like Sandrax, but she may need support. The Sandrax's path will take her towards the west, which may have been overwhelmed by this rising threat. They'll need aid as well. Take this concoction. Go give them their support.
The Queen's blessings upon you.
I mean, yeah, they're actively seeking stronger foes. That just screams Vrykul to me. Like, that's it? That's your life and your culture? Even Klingons have more going on than that.
I have lived to see them return.
In all my years of tending the lava elementals, I have never seen them act like this. We can barely keep them contained to the cave. Do you have a minute to spare? We'll hold the exit while you thin their numbers. Here, take this bottled water elemental. I always carry a few spare bottled water elementals when I'm looking after the lava elementals. What? Have fun, J. Palmer.
May the waters protect you.
Actually, it's a lot better now, Braglin. And I can tell you that from personal experience because I actually didn't do the Rathion stuff until War Within was out. It's a lot easier when you can one-shot all those elites in the Obsidian area. Trust me. Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of with the Earthen comparison, you know? They're barely sentient, and they like to fight. And they're part elemental. There you go, boom. Djaradins. I know this sounds strange coming from me, but you don't really need a super in-depth lore for every little thing, right? Honestly, what I just said is satisfactory for me. We have stuff just like them back in the Warlords that nobody's bothered by. You know, we've got the Gron and the Magron. Still trying to get a handle on Evoker. It is such a strange class. I don't know. Not in a bad way. Not at all. But I'm still definitely getting the hang of it. I do love how when they die, they leave little lava puddles, which, you know, actually burn you. See, ironically, I'm probably going to be the exact opposite, Mr. Red. I imagine I'm going to really like Evoker because it's a weird new thing that takes a while to get to grips with. In many ways, this actually feels a lot like Pictomancer, and I do mean that as a direct comparison. Like, you've got your rotators, you've got your builders, you've got your procs. It's actually extraordinarily mobile, even already. Never mind when I actually get some of the later talents. It's got a couple of additional extra mechanics that make it something more than simply cast spell, which again, Picto. No, they keep waffling on this, and to be clear, I am not happy about that. What they do is they do these time-walking events where they just have time-walking for like 6 weeks in a row. And then, which is what we just left. And then it only comes back like once every now and again. Like, let's see here. So for example, next week we will actually have a time-walking event again. I'm not sure which one. But then it'll go away, and then it'll come back, looks like 2 weeks after that, see? So twice a month, roughly. Or rather, to be more accurate, half of the month. And yeah, I'm with Mr. Red. I am not a huge fan of that. However, this is the really strange thing. However, the reason they do that is actually very, very basic. It's to increase the amount of people who are queuing for regular dungeons to make sure that people still have groups for those. It's the same general reason why you can get rewards for doing old dungeons in FF14, even if you are higher level. You gain experience or you gain currency. Which naturally leads into my automatic suggestion there of them just, you know, taking and adapting the roulette system for WoW in order to help solve that very same problem. Oh yeah, they also probably don't want to overshadow Undermine. Ah, good, that does work.
Have returned.
So far, I only have one actual complaint for Evoker. For some reason, Soar isn't instacast. I want to play a Druid Evoker, damn it.
I never gave up hope.
Ah, that singed my tail. Steady, friend. Will not let you fall. Let's see. What was I working on next? Actually, that's possible. Oh, speaking of which, I wanted to check if anything involves hover. Nope, nothing that I don't already have. I mean, time walking is more or less the exact same nowadays. As to say, the time walking dungeons is more or less the exact same as doing Crystal Tower in FF14. For pretty much the exact same reason. You're there to level / get resources. So everyone's only interested in one thing, smashing through it as quickly as possible. And it's completely brainless. Now, how brainless it is, I've noticed, varies. But, same idea. So I'm really debating here. What the heck is Wing Buffet? Oh, that's my racial. I was debating getting the shield. But I won't have enough to get all the way down. I'll need 3 for that. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. I'm going to build towards that. I do not recommend game. Game is the worst activity in the history of humankind. Are you looking for Cadet Sandrax? She hasn't returned yet.
I have lived to see them return.
Sandrax stopped by and rushed through. That one's a whirlwind. I like her.
May the waters protect.
Cadet Sandrax came through here not long ago. She relayed Commander Lethanak's orders for all Draconin to rally back at the life pools. Our whole defensive regiment set off in that direction not after. But our scouts were on patrol, so she headed there to rally them too.
Honor. Cadet Sandrax is showing some real promise with her eager attitude. She will be leading her own regiment if she continues this way.
Yes, that's right, VOD watchers. You just lost the game. Sorry.
Over here, and stay low. These eggs are our future.
I think the aspects are here. I couldn't find the scouts. The primalists are here. I don't know what to do.
I will protect them.
Our ambush was a success. The convoy yielded enough eggs to begin. Go now. Infuse them with the elements. Wash away the stain of order. Work quickly. Outsiders have come ashore. We cannot let them interfere.
Which raid, Bregwin? Because, you know, we're going to be doing those as we go through this. Pseudo legit? Very pseudo?
We must save the
I might
eggs.
end up healing those, actually.
This is my calling.
I haven't read anything in the archives before the primalists stealing dragon eggs before. This is bad. This is very bad.
Saving the eggs is...
Yeah, fun fact. I've actually never done the Vault of the Incarnates. Or Aberrus. I've only done the last boss of both. Amir Drasil was the only raid I actually really got into. Because by that point I was really into WoW. And I actually wanted to raid. And my sister had rejoined and she had a raid group. Blah, blah, blah. There's a reason I have several normal drops from there. So why do the primalists want dragon eggs? It shouldn't be possible. There's no record of this in the Draken military archives. She takes a deep breath. Proto-dragons infused with elemental energies are monstrously powerful. Stories tell of entire Draken regiments being frozen in a single breath. If the Primalists are infusing dragonflight eggs with these same powers, the results would be catastrophic. But who are the Primalists? They're troublemakers, led by terrifying elemental proto-dragons like Razagath. They seek nothing short of the destruction of all dragonflights and the reduction of Azeroth to elemental chaos. In other words, they're the Twilight Hammer. Okay, cool.
I will protect...
There's no higher charge given to a Draken upon their graduation than to defend every single Dragon Age with their lives. That's why we train. That's why we exist. I can no longer hide and observe. By stealing and infusing these eggs, the Primalists threaten the entire future of the Dragonflights. We are vastly outnumbered, but will you stand by my side? Will you help save the Dragonflights?
Saving the eggs,
lady,
is
I got
all
you back.
that matters.
Commander Lithanak warned us recruits that he had received reports of the Storm Eater, Razagath, escaping her prison. It seems her servants have followed in her wake, threatening all we hold dear. They move quickly. These ruins were reported to be abandoned during the last patrol. We must stop the Primalists here, for the Lifebinder and for all Dragonflights.
This is my calling. If even a single dragon egg is in danger, we cannot remain in the shadows.
The pages on the book are charred. The Primalists are burning tomes here, putting the Dragonflight's very history in peril. It's as if the Primalists want to erase the Dragonflights from history. Oh, so they're Republicans. Sorry. That one slipped out. I apologize. This world is wrong.
No. Not this. Not the world. You deserved better. I am sorry.
Jesus Christ. Voice acting going hard here. One of my favorite things about how much they drag the camera down is how, and I know this is just me and my personal biases, but it makes me more invested in events. I care more about most of what's happening because it's happening to individuals, not countries or nations or worlds. You know what I mean? This quest is a good example of that. If you really think about it, we're not doing much. We're saving books and kids. That's it. And yet, I care so much more because we're saving books and kids. Helped by one scout who is brand new on the job and just graduated like, I don't know, a month ago. Yeah, the fact that their goal is to reset to the stage of elemental chaos is just kind of hysterical in its own way.
And be at peace.
Like, I'm sorry, have any of you thought for 5 milliseconds what a world of elemental chaos would actually look like? The answer to that question is no. Yeah, pretty much, Dakota. A low-born black drake fails to reconcile his militaristic heritage with the respect for intelligence and wit, and eventually falls to despair over unrequited love and the materialism rampant amongst dragonkind. Oh my god. It's a book called The Red and Black Flights. That's true, there are a lot of dark shamans amongst the primalists. In fact, I think it's most of them, really.
Stay away from those primal conduits.
Damn it, Brigwood. I do also like how the first primals we meet are fire-aligned, which makes a degree of sense. It's also something we, as WoW players, are rather used to.
Stay away from those primal conduits.
Sorry.
Grandas Crosu. Solera. Stay away from those primal conduits.
Look, I had to actually get this one, okay? So that is the Titanic Comedy, a satirical tour of the cosmos from the Emerald Dream to the Shadowlands, led by the Titan Watcher Dantier. Neither Titans nor aspects are spared the author's ire, all having their perceived sins on full display. What?
Stay away from those primal conduits.
Listen. I need you to quit bugging me about the primal conduits for 5 seconds, okay? But you need to stay away from them. I'm fine. Don't stand there! Those are some of the Arabians. Sorry. Lord of the Wings. A band of hardened Draconid and plucky whelps come together to destroy an artifact of terrible power that can only be undone in the forges of the mad aspect who created it. I would read that very unironically. Oh, there's another one in there? There is. No, I have not, Magister. I don't play WoW alone, unless I'm streaming. Okay, that nearly killed me. Holy crap. See, I haven't seen New Delves, I haven't seen New Research, I haven't been to the Siren Isles. I've been to Undermine. One wing to rule them all. So, Pride and Protodrakes. The quintessential love story, set in a time before the aspects. An up-and-coming young Protodrake runs afoul of a standoffish elder. Their animosity turns to appreciation and eventually love, as they come to understand one another.
It is up to me to help. I will protect them.
She's clearly shaken by what she had to do. Death was the only mercy left to those poor whelplings.
This is my calling.
She pats out a lingering flame on her armor. We've done what we could and what was needed.
Saving the eggs is all that matters.
Our history... Oh my god, Library of Alexstrasza. Our history will survive.
This is my calling.
A whole brood of whelplings lost. She straightens her back and sticks her chin up. There's one more location we have not checked yet, a large ritual site where the proto-dragons drop off eggs. Let us charge their cruel defenses together and save what we can.
I will protect them. Follow me. We'll charge the ritual site together.
I can do that. And now we have 6 assassins.
We must save the eggs.
A single egg remains. We have not failed yet. If we can get that egg to Alexstrasza, she'll know what to do. There must be a way to save the whelplings inside. Follow me. We will rescue that egg, no matter the cost.
Saving the eggs is all. Stay behind me. I will endure the conduit's flame while you grab the egg.
Or, conversely, the opposite of that. Like, seriously, let me get this thing. Let me loot it. Let me loot it.
Grab the egg for the flight. For the future.
So, Sendrex is dead. In case you missed that. Now we actually have to carry the egg out. This is actually an interesting quest if you're not a demon hunter or apparently an evoker. Because damage taken and enemies can pop the egg off you. Or you can just run out.
Aspects. Is that a dragon egg? I will summon the Major Domo at once.
What is the emergency, Askra? Has the enemy... By the Lifebinder! Is that an egg? I can help you thrive here, mortal.
We safeguard our precious eggs to protect the future of all dragonflights. Primalists do not simply threaten pain or anguish with their actions. They threaten us with extinction. I must inform the Queen at once.
Your rival is not always your enemy. Very well. Just this once.
I can fly, dude. Or doodad.
Hold on tight, if you can. The tenders alerted me as soon as a caravan of eggs went missing. But to hear what happened to them... Our flight has endured many blows over the years. We had just started to recover. And now this. The Red Dragonflight was charged with nurturing life. We must stop the Primalists. We must stop the Proto-Dragons.
Welcome to the Ruby Life Shrine, Champion. I am glad my Major Domo has brought you to me safely. But what brings you here so urgently?
So really minor touch, you probably didn't even notice. We flew over no less than 3 separate side quest areas on the way up here. Just so that the player, if they're paying attention, can happen to notice those and then be like, oh, that's a place to go later.
Embrace hope, fair skies, and strong... What has happened to this egg? The energies that surround it are... This is dire. If the egg can be saved, it will be here, within the sacred waters of the life pools. Once the young of dragonkind filled this vibrant place. And the ruby oathstone, the very symbol of our calling, cast its bright glow high into the air for all to see. Now it lies dormant, as do all the Oathstones. I suspect they fell quiet when we relinquished our aspectral power. There are so many things we left behind. But now that we have come home, we can fulfill the callings of our flights and renew the 5 Oathstones. And through their unity, our absent power shall be restored.
Yay.
Where there is life, there is hope.
This is dire, but our flight has suffered many tragedies over the years. We will endure.
Life endures.
So, you should go learn dragon riding. Oh, okay.
From pain, we draw strength.
Our calling is care and compassion. We aid the other flights not only for their own sake, but for the sake of dragonkind as a whole. Perhaps speaking with the dragon spawn at the Ruby Shrine will help you to understand further.
Treasure the gift you have been given.
Now let's just go get rid of that really quick. So there's this brand new thing called dragon riding, right? I'm sure you've never heard of it.
Ah, caught a good wind stream lately? How fare the winds today? Fair skies and strong winds. See, call upon your Drake companion, then drop off the edge while moving forward. You will glide to your destination.
Done. Wait, were you just over there? I can be in many places at once, but I always make sure I'm sleeping well in at least one of those places.
The sky calls.
So yeah, this is where I'm just going to run through this relatively quickly.
You'll pick up speed. Use this to fly faster, then level out to reach your destination.
But I wanted to point out that this is actually, by memory and being reaffirmed here, a pretty decent tutorial on what dragon flying actually is. And yeah, this is also a tutorial for dragon racing, which we are absolutely going to do later. We'll have to put serious thought into reviewing dailies / world quests for the first time in Dragonflight.
Ah, caught a good wind stream lately? You are doing marvelously. Finally, a dive can give you enough speed to rise up and over to a higher spot. Use your momentum to reach your destination. The sky calls.
So here's our actual...
See you up there.
Just straight up race tutorial. Like, alright, you've learned the basics, do it. So this is Baby's first dragon race right here. One of the better activities in, well, honestly, both new expansions. I really need to go back and finish up dragon racing. I just haven't had time.
How fare the winds today?
You have a bright future.
Eh. One might say I have a dark future. A future within, maybe? So you'll notice this quest chain, which is an MSQ and a good breadcrumb, leads us directly next to this guy. Everyone knows who this guy is, because everyone praises him as the best feature of Dragonflight. To be clear, I am admittedly a little annoyed by that, because everyone talks about him, and not the dozens of other quests that are just as good as him. I get it, though, because again, this guy is pretty shoved into your face. It's hard to avoid him. I've often felt that they specifically put him right here, like this, so that players would interact and acknowledge the secondary quests, you know? Yeah, he's right at the front. He's one of the first quest givers we see in the entire expansion. He is memorable. He has a red dragon name and a dwarven aspect, that is to say, visage. And he's just sitting here staring into the space, and he's got a question mark right by something where we learn something that pretty much every new player is going to go through. So, yeah, no, it does make sense that so many people were actually going to come back to him. Well, I suppose I could talk to him, can't I? Yeah.
Come to the Skytop Observatory. I will introduce you to others who can provide you with information about the other wondrous things you may do with your Drake.
And now here's Baby's first Dragon Race Part 2.
The sky calls.
Yeah, that goes back to, like, Legion, Brigham. I suppose I was so eager to show you our foundation, I may have flown a bit too fast. My apologies. There's not much to look at the moment. It's been a long time. However, we will make them our home once again. Let's introduce you to everyone.
Keep your feet off the ground.
So here's the tutorial for this thing. I'm going to skip over that for this part.
Our resident gliding expert. But there is Lancera oversees the rostrum of transformation. Talk to her about how your dragon can adapt to new, unique forms.
Shoot. I got it. Now what?
Do you seek knowledge?
Hey look, I have all the talents? That's something I haven't seen before. I'm gonna turn that on.
Thank you for sharing.
No, because this is the first time it's been relevant, Magister. It's the same reason we haven't really covered follower dungeons yet.
You would ask something
really.
of me. Now, back to my garden.
Oh, you're talking about that thing. Well, in that case, no. We barely mentioned it because Mechagon was so threadbare. And that was it. So there's all your tour quests. We're not doing those, of course. But while we're here, let's talk about this. So, this pushes this expansion a little bit above previous ones in terms of mount design, in my opinion. Oh, sure, there's a couple of little side mounts you can get that are fun, like the snails or the mammoths or whatever. So we've still got the usual mount stuff. But then all of your dragon mounts, which you'll notice I, of course, have all of. But at the moment, you're only supposed to have this one. Then you get the green one, then the blue one, then the bronze one. Eventually you get that one in the Zeralik. You get this one later. You get this one if you pre-bought the game. You get this one in the Final Zone, and you get this one in War Within. But these all have character creator screen. It is straight up a character creator screen. It's exactly what it sounds like. Now, what I do like about these is they show you where to get them. So, like, for example, that requires Dawn of the Infinite. I actually do want to go farm the Dawn of the Infinite stuff at some point in time. This is still a little bit of the prototype of what this feature can and probably eventually should be. But they definitely have been doing some stuff with this. And again, War Within kind of proves this, especially since we have things like, say, that. But getting back to the point, you've got full transformations. These are usually drops or achievements, as you can see, like that. Excuse me. I actually do have some of these, as you can see. And I'm not going to go too far in depth in this, but it's character customization. It's another character customization, just for your mounts instead of just yourself. You've been seeing this whole time because several of my main characters, when I hop on them, have already done all this. My biggest complaint about this is what Magister just mentioned. There's no save or load option, which, considering that some people probably want to have the same setup on multiple characters, that is a little bit of absent feature that really should be there, you know. I, of course, have the armor. Why wouldn't I have the armor? I don't have the Brewfest one. That's interesting. I thought I did. I do have the Love is in the Air one. I mean, it isn't an excuse, but yeah. Let's see, for us, let's see. We've been kind of going the regal look. We could go the cold look or the regal look. What do you think? Not that I'm probably going to use these. Cold is this. Could be, Magister? There's a random button. Gotta have the dirigible, obviously. This is probably my least favorite of the mounts. It looks so weird. You can work with it and eventually get it to something that's interesting. But, like, not a big fan. Oh, I haven't gotten that one yet. Yeah, we'll go with that for now. This is my personal favorite overall. And you're probably thinking, why? That's weird and kind of awkward looking. And you're right. But the reason why is actually really, really simple. It's because the armor looks the best on this one. So the armor adds these wonderful bladed edges to the tips of the wings. And it's also very visible. On some of these, like I'll actually use a specific example. On this guy, even though he has an armor setup, which is this right here, you can see that, right? But if you're back here, you can barely even tell he's armored, so it's just a Drake. By contrast, on this guy, you can tell he's armored immediately. And I'll actually show that off. Let's go ahead and put his HUD armor on. And then let's go with, I don't know, we'll do the cold one. And there, you see what I mean? It's immediately obvious that he's nice and armored. And it looks really cool with the wingtips, too. So, this is my favorite for exactly that reason. This one's not bad, obviously. But I don't have the version I actually would prefer to have yet, because it's from Dawn of the Infinite. I need to farm that place more. And yes, some customization options are just absent because, Switch to this, switch to this, and switch to this. Oh, yeah, and yes, of course I have the Winter's Veil armor. Why wouldn't I? Don't judge me. And yeah, if it's not obvious, each of these is representative of one of the flights, but you can also make any of them look like any of the other flights. So, like, for example, let's see, the full armor for Winter's Veil looks like that. You've got the sleigh up top with the presents and a wreath up front. And, of course, the whole thing. Jesus Christ. I didn't get Pirates Day. I meant to, and I never got around to it. You see what I mean, though, right? Almost none of these have any armor on the wings. Same with that one. This one's, as I've said before, I don't like the face. The face ruins this. The rest of this is actually fine. But that face is just awful. Even if we add armor, it's just, yeah, okay. Not a big fan. I'm going to have the burning red one here, obviously. Perfect. Anyways. Yeah, it's a bit too DreamWorks. That's a good way to put that. Let's see. Cosmetics. There it is.
Ah, caught a good wind stream lately? See you up there.
Okay.
Keep your feet. Keep watch for our outposts. They are all over the Dragon Isles. As you explore, we will be there to aid you in your dragon riding journey. For now, farewell and discover all.
I mean, it should be Ismaristar. Not because of who it is, but because it's the final boss of a second raid. I mean, do you remember the final boss of the second raid of this expansion, who I will not name for spoiler reasons? I actually died to that boss quite a few times. And no, you have not, Uthor. And yeah, notice there's a little side questy thing to put you up a little bit to give you some height. I need to jot down the design. No, he's dead. He's dead, Magister. He's dead. Mal'Ganis is dead. The jailer's dead. Everyone's dead. Moving on. He didn't go to the afterlife because the afterlife is dead.
Holth Aldon She.
Yeah, drink from a ham. And thank you. It's good to know people still like that stuff. Ah, don't listen to people, Magister. So, I guess I'll go ahead and do this quest now. Sure, let's get our depression in for the day. The old dwarf doesn't react to your presence as you approach. As he gazes over the landscape, a deep frown is set in his face. It's a pleasant view. It might be nice to take a break and watch the landscape. Viridistras lets out a long sigh. Viridistras glances at you. This view, it may look beautiful to you. To me, it reminds me of how long we've been gone. I barely recognize this landscape. I grew up here, when it was called the Broodlands. I used to tend the Life Shrine so many years ago. Then we left to help safeguard the mortals. What was it like to leave the Dragon Isles? The reason I'm here, looking over this alien landscape, is that for such a long time I dreamed about returning here. This is our home. I never expected we would be gone for so long. After a while, I never expected to return. How does it feel to be back? You can probably remember where you grew up, smell of your parents' cooking, or you can remember playing with your friends who lived close by. Now imagine that you've forgotten how to get to your childhood home. You can never visit again. You can never walk the paths of your childhood. Perhaps you think me overly sentimental. You try living for 10,000 years, never being able to visit your home, finally visit it, only to find it completely different and come back to me. Although, there's enough war in this existence that maybe you do know something about that after all. 10,000 years is a while. 10,000 years? I can barely believe it's been that long since we left. You can't imagine how awful that time was. The fear that surrounded us, the sundering, the betrayal of the Black Dragon Flight, the Dragon Wars. The Dragon Wars? The Dragon Wars. You may call it something different, but I was there, and that's what I call it. All the Dragonflights versus the Black Dragonflight. I think it'd be an easy fight. 4 versus 1, even with the Demon Soul. The Blue Flight was nearly destroyed in Neltharin's initial strike. So 3-1. Still great odds, until you realize what it was like. What do you mean? You only know Neltharin as Deathwing. His brood is mad, evil beings. We knew them before they fell. This wasn't some unknown menace. This wasn't some great evil looming like the Legion was. These were our friends and our loved ones. Sounds awful. It was awful. Not knowing what's going on, thinking there was something you could do to snap them out of it. They were my friends, and they were killing my brothers and sisters. You had friends in the Blacks? I had many friends in that flight. Some were as close as clutch mates. Growing up, we used to play pranks on the elders. I remember one time we coated Alex Strauss's tail in honey while she slept, and... what does it matter? My best friend was of the Black Dragonfly. We intermingled a lot back in those days. Not like now, where most flights keep to themselves. Tell me about your friend. Isn't it funny? I can't remember her name. I can remember her face, how the light bounced off her beautiful scales, but I can't remember her name. I can remember the horror when I came home to find her standing over the bodies of my family. Practically her family. I can remember the gut-wrenching despair as I plunged my claw into her throat. I remember the hate in her eyes as the light went out in them. I can't remember her name. I always wondered if I'd been a better friend. Could I have prevented it? Did she not feel like she could come to me as she felt the corruption starting? Abyssian was cleansed. Must have been something I could have done. But she didn't come to me. Must have felt she couldn't talk to me about it. I was a better friend. If I had told her... Oh, Titans, if I told her how I felt, could it have gone differently? I loved her. I can't even remember her name. Thank you for listening to me, young one. I appreciate it more than you can know. I have a favor to ask. Don't worry, no more stories. When we left this place, I left a time capsule of sorts. Would you be able to retrieve it for me? We left it at the bottom of the Ruby Life Shrine, hidden behind the pillars. I hid it with my sigil. If you activate it, you should be able to see my time capsule. This is such a shame Viridistras won't help out. He grew up here. Think of the things he could teach us. Also, Crystal Estraza. Jeez. I tried to cheer him up, but nothing seems to work. I even brought the whelps over him, but that just made him worse. It's not something we can help with until he wants help. We can just be ready to provide support when he wants it. I found myself oddly excited. Apparently I'm looking forward to looking through the time capsule. How unexpected. Thank you, young one. You've given me a lot to think about. Seems like I put this in the time capsule. I don't think I have much use for it anymore. Maybe it's useful to you. Reputation! And experience. It has been so long since I left this here. I barely remember what was in it. Viridistras starts looking through the time capsule. Pressed leaf. I'm sure I thought that was important at the time. Oh, this is an old focus for tending to the eggs. I remember this. There's a lot to go through here, and these old bones can only take so much. I'll have to check through it later. Oh. Apparently I left a letter, too. Oh, Titans. I barely recognized the dragon who wrote this. I was so hopeful when we left. I was so sure we could make a difference. But I wouldn't give to feel just the smallest fraction of that again. Thank you, young one. You've given me some things to think about. Negative to... I'm joking. I'm joking. And while we happen to be right here... And that's what was hard to forget, captivity. Chains. You remember, don't you? You're sounding rough, old man. Save some strength for the walk back.
Loktar.
Duraz is old, sick, and stubborn as a Kodo. There was no stopping him getting on the airship to come here. The best I could do was be his walking stick. I've seen him in pain enough times on the battlefield to know he's hiding it. He's been getting worse every day. Can you help me get to the potion makers? Ale's not doing the trick anymore. If you can carry our weapons, I'll help him walk.
Be safe.
Here, carry our axes for us. It'll lighten the load in case I have to sling them over my shoulder. I can still walk, boy. That's what you said after that Korkron took out both your knees at Orgrimmar. Showing which side of that conflict he was on. And I meant it. Cut down 6 of them afterward. Would have kept going if... Duraz falls silent and averts his eyes as they pass the innkeeper. You're worried they know about your clan. No, they were too young, too far away. I pray that evil never reaches them. What if they learn one day? Some will. The others will get to live without knowing those things can happen. Ugh! Do you need to slow down? No, there's much to be done, to be said. Better to get on with it. Stubborn bastard. I mean, the staircase is kind of broken, dude. There's no shame in that. Ah, good, they're still here. Thrumka, alchemist. My friend is sick and could use your aid. We have gold to pay you. What's wrong? Come closer, let me have a look at you. Your aid will be yours without coin.
Aspect's grace shine.
I'll examine him, see what I can do. It's a good thing you brought him here when you did. I can tell he's in a great deal of pain, though he bears it well. So must we all when it comes time. I'm afraid it is age that ails him, not illness, but I may be able to relieve some portion of the suffering. Would you gather some snap flowers, shallow lilies, and some pure water? I could create some pain medicine if you find enough.
Aspects watch over.
Please have your friend sit down and rest while you wait. Stay here, Duraz. I'll go get the garden. I want to sit in the garden. Are you sure you want to see? Never mind. All right, come on. Let's go to the garden. Hi, Captain Zeus. Welcome to a very joyful quest. Immediately after another very joyful quest. I mean, it makes sense to me, I suppose. Probably says something about how weird I am. Yeah, this is a place absolutely overrun with life and growth. Speaking of, more pluses.
Victory!
Told him this trip was going to be rough on him. He wouldn't listen.
Strength.
Yeah, by the way, I love how they don't even straight up call it out. The writing here is so damn good. For those of you who didn't catch it, that guy used to be part of the Dragon Maw clan. They did some very unpleasant things to dragons.
The Isles welcome you.
One moment while I prepare the medicine. Here it is. Please take it to the old orc and remind him I require no repayment. The dread dragonflight values all life, even when it wanes.
Mukra!
Was the dragon spawn able to make anything?
For the Horde!
He takes the potion from me with a small, sad smile. He almost looks disappointed.
Abu!
Don't tell me you're going to complain about the taste. This is how it should have been. What? They should have lived. Like this, the dragons. The whelps, free, unshackled, untainted. You're not thinking about the rest of the Dragon Ball, you're thinking about what you did. Every day of my life. And here they are making me medicine. Because they don't know. You answered for it. You were in that camp for years. You stood against Garrosh, against Zayala, and against Sylvanas. You regained your honor, and you defended it. I broke whelps younger than ye, his Kolgar. Some honor can't be regained. A ruby whelpling lands near his leg, curls up, and begins to drift off to sleep. Drink your medicine. It'll help. And it's specifically a red whelpling, too. That curls up next to him.
Zug zug.
So we can choose to know who the Dragon Maw are, or be like, who are the Dragon Maw? I do know who the Dragon Maw are. Arrogance. I needed to see that we had not destroyed everything. I took that chance. It's the last thing I will take. You should pay for your crimes, or you're doing your best. Have you ever stood knee-deep in dragon blood? I have. My best is worthless.
Strength! Macaw.
Why are you traveling with a Dragon Maw? Same reason I travel with any orc. We all have blood on our hands. Duras has the sense to know that washing it off won't make it go away. There's something to learn from that.
Go forth to victory.
Yeah, by the way, we also haven't seen the last of Riddistraws either. I mean, you remember the Earthen Unlock quest, right? Jesus. I'm going to talk about ripping tears out of you.
Belayadoros.
Oh, that's interesting.
Always glad to help.
We'll come back to that. So, in case you can't tell, there's a little plush duckling on Lilia Strauss's head there. Hello, Evo. Happy Duck got hurt while we were flying around. He was doing so good, and I hit a tree. She gestures mournfully to the damaged duck plushing her head. His stuffing is falling out. His feathers are bent. One of his eyes is gone. You can help fix Happy Duck, right? Don't cry, Happy Duck. Zervials will help us. How sparkly. How colorful. Happy Duck would like a sparkly, colorful eye, I bet. Hold on. What have you got there? We need a new eye for Happy Duck. Clearly, please. It's important. Alright. Well, it's just a small bead. And if it's for a good cause, go ahead, little one.
It is good to see you, hero.
Do you have any spare scraps of fabric?
Protect the flame.
I can spare a scrap of cloth, so long as you don't mind the stains of horn polish.
Hoth Hadan Shi.
Alas, I don't have any to spare.
Alexstrasza sees you.
Warm welcome, champion.
Here, have a piece of this banner. It's from a great foe I vanquished. You missed the old dwarf, Evo. And the old orc.
Our fire cleanses.
Our fire cleanses.
We're actually a pretty decent chunk of the ways through the Waking Shores.
What do you see? Each egg requires careful supervision to reach their full potential. We provide that care.
Also, obviously, I'm doing this on my Evoker, who's technically like a couple weeks old. But I want you to imagine me doing this on my Demon Hunter, who is a veteran from Legion, BFA, and Shadowlands, running around with this little whelp, helping her to fix her plushie. Because she absolutely would. I imagine she is not the only one like that, amongst whatever stories you have for your characters. Probably Uthor. Also, I need someone to go kill Mr. Red really quick, please. Alright. Okay. We just gotta find someone who knows how to fix Happy Duck.
Greetings, traveler. Anshe Gaiju. Look to the skies.
Oh, yes. Yes, these materials should be plenty to repair your Happy Duck, young one. She smiles at you. Thank you for bringing this important matter to my attention, Zerviles. It should take but a moment.
Beware the deep places of the earth.
Mend the hole, stitch the feathers, and let's not forget the eye. There we are. Good as new. Oh, Happy Duck, you're beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In fact, there's enough material to sew in another duck entirely. A little brother for Happy Duck? Why don't we call him Lucky Duck? He can go on adventures, like Zerviles. A Happy Duck for me, Lucky Duck for you. As it happens, I already have this toy, because of course I do. But for this particular run, why don't we go ahead and pull that out? And there's Lucky Duck. The buff that gives is called Escorting Lucky Duck. Damn, that's 3 good side quests in a row. Jesus Christ. Yeah, by the way, I want to let's do this. So, here's the blue flight. They have 2 eggs. 2 at the Life Shrine. The Black Flight has 0. Emerald? Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 just kind of piled in there. Red, of course, has, oh, geez, a bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24. And bronze over here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. Nice little visual storytelling tidbit there. Because, yeah, blacks are on the verge of extinction. In fact, I'm not actually sure the blacks can lay egg. Like, if they have a, I forget what it's called, but a woman who can lay eggs, a woman who is fertile, or whatever that's called. Because all 3 of the black survivors are guys. And the blues, well, we killed one of their last egg layers. Or rather, her undead form. So they're lucky to have anybody at this point. Sibelian does have a few blacks with him, which is a retcon. And they probably retconned that specifically because it was really, really depressing with there only being 3 black dragons. Because, yeah, we have a word for that. That's called extinction. Actually, I think there's another word for that, which I can't remember what it is. It's non-viable. It's when a species isn't extinct, but it is going to be. Not endangered, that's different.
Welcome, friend. Please be careful, friend.
Ah.
Dionysaka.
I'm still debating that question. Why don't we catch up a little bit? Yeah, endangered can be salvageable. Without the Sibelian retcon, the Black Flight was doomed. I guess that's a more accurate word for what they are. True, Xavier. And in this setting, as much as Blateville would hate it, it's worth noting that we could probably construct new black dragons. It is worthy of note that both Abyssian and Rathian were adjusted in the egg in order to be viable. And Rathian is made of, I think it's 3 separate black dragon eggs. Where am I? I'm off track is where I am. Hang on. Yeah, we have access to Titan tech. There are things we can do. But for now, I should probably go grab lunch. So thanks for that late start there, Blizzard. I'll be back in a bit.